Hey everybody, this is Robert from Black Belt Gaming. I hope you're doing well. I've had so little opportunity to game recently, but today I have a chance, so I'm going to do some gaming. I'm going to play some Marvel Champions here, and I'm going to try to take on Ebony Maw. Today I'm going to be playing Antman, starting out as Scott Lang here. And it said in the setup we needed to put this attack on nowhere here, and we needed to shuffle through the deck and find a spell. We've got that one on the board. We've got Fireball heading our way. And here is Ebony Maw. He is starting with 14 health, a scheme of 2, and an attack of 1. And each of these spells can potentially activate against me as the game goes on. We've shuffled our deck. We start with a hand of 6 cards, which is nice. And we've got Hive Mind, Nick Fury, Clear the Area, Army of Ants, Wrist Gauntlets, and Ant-Man's Helmet. I'm still not the greatest at figuring out what to do with a mulligan here, so let me think just for a second. I guess I'll just try to go with what I have. So as I start my first turn, I think I'm going to play these 3 cards as resources. And with those 3, I'm going to put down Ant-Man's Helmet into play. And then I know I have some more Army of Ant cards. I think what I might do is play that and get my Wrist Gauntlets. So I kind of have my upgrades here on me and ready to go. And as I start my first turn, there's not a lot of threat on here to deal with as I begin. So I think I'll switch over to Giant Form. And it says after you change to Giant Form, heal 2 damage. Well, I'm at full health. So after you change to this form, deal 1 damage to the enemy. So we're going to take him down to 13. And then for my main action on the turn, I can either thwart for 1 or attack for another 3. I guess I'll go ahead and attack since I've got an opening. So let's attack for 3 and take him down to 10. So starting off trying to hit him hard. And then that will end my turn. I'll ready up and draw only 4 cards now in the Giant Form. And we've got Wasp, Army of Ants, Giant Strength, and Lay Down the Law. So now we'll pick it up with Ebony Maw. He's going to get 1 on the main scheme, and then he will attack us. We're at full health in hero form, so he's going to be doing his attack of 1 plus any sort of boost. We see a boost of 1 here. So 2 damage to us. So we go down to 10. And then let's see, I guess it's encounter card time. Encounter card is a side scheme called Landing Craft. It adds an acceleration token. When defeated, we're going to do something. So it's going to start with a couple of threat on it and an acceleration token. Alright, so acceleration token is added. And I think that ends the first turn. So we're heading into Ant-Man's turn now. By the way, I forgot to do this. This is a spell card. When Ebony Maw activates and he attacked us, but even before he attacked us, this would come off and start to count down. And when this runs out of counters, that spell will go off. And if there's more spells on the table, I guess those sort of count down along with it, and you can have maybe multiple spells go off at once. But let's see what we can do here for this turn. We're starting to get some threat on the board, and I think we want to start doing something about that. Lay down the law. After you change form, remove 3 threat from a scheme. 4 if you paid for this using a mental resource. Well, that would be a good one. We could get rid of the landing craft side scheme pretty quickly. But it would be nice to get Wasp on the table. It says after she enters play, deals 2 damage or remove 2 threat. Why don't we do that instead? Why don't we switch form? We're going to go into our Antman tiny form, and it says after you change to this form, remove 2 threat from a scheme. So we're going to remove 2 threat. No. After you change form, remove 1 threat from a scheme. She removes 2. Let's remove 1 from the main scheme. All right, that's what we get for changing into Antman. As a response, after you change to tiny form, you get to draw a card. We've got speed here. I added this card. This deck was something I found on the Deck Builder website. It's basically a justice for Antman, justice for Antman, a Antman justice deck, and I added, I think, 2 cards to it. So it's about a 42 card deck, and that was one of the ones I added. So I think what I want to do is spend some resources and see if I can get Wasp down, because she can remove some threats since I'm in my tiny form. So let's put her down. We're going to pay 3 to do this. So let's go ahead and use speed as a resource and lay down the law and maybe our giant strength. And with those 3, we can get Wasp into play. After Wasp enters play, remove 2 threat if you are in tiny form. So we're going to get rid of the landing craft card. And it says discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a minion is discarded. All right, here's a minion. Put that minion into play, engaged with the player who defeated this scheme. All right, so we have an Outrider coming after us. When revealed, discard 1 card at random from your hand. Well, I've only got Army of Ants left. So I'm empty-handed. Well, Wasp is still on the table, able to do some things, and so is Antman. Maybe I'll have Antman go into thwart mode, and we'll have him thwart, and this acceleration token goes away. So the main scheme is clear. And Wasp, do we want to do anything with Wasp right now? Maybe let's go ahead and have her attack. She's going to take a wound for that, but we're going to have her attack for 2, taking him down to 8. And I think that's going to finish our turn. So let's ready up. We're in tiny form. Looks like 5 cards. 5 cards for our hand. Got some strength, Giant Stomp, Power of Justice, Skilled Investigator, and another Giant Stomp. All right, Ebony Maw activates. We lose one of these, and he's going to go and add 1 to the main scheme, and then he will attack us. I still think I'm going to take the damage. So let's take a look at this. Each villain activates, and each minion activates once. All right. So who goes first? Does it matter? The villain and each minion activates. I guess I'll go with the villain first. He's going to attack for 1 plus a boost. I guess I'm just going to take the damage. So with a boost, it's a boost of 1. It's got a star on it here. It says, when Ebony Maw activates against you, remove an invocation from each spell card in your play area. So with this boost, maybe that's all it does. It removes another one of these. Let me know if that's right. I guess that's what happens. And he attacked us and hit us for 1 damage. So wait a minute. Yeah, I was down to 9. Nah, sorry everybody. I think I'm too rusty here. The boost is different. It's according to the card. Give the villain a tough status card. That's what it was. So he gets a tough card. All right, I think I got it straight here. So we've got toughness on Ebony Maw. Then the minions. Minions will activate. And we have this Outrider. And he's going to attack us. So no boost card for the minions. It's just going to be another point of damage. So we'll go ahead and take it. Go down to 8. Then we go to encounter card time. We get 1 encounter card, and it's a side scheme. It's called the Black Order. Thanos recruited the most dangerous mercenaries in the galaxy to form the Black Order. While a Black Order minion is in play, threat cannot be removed from this side scheme. And it looks like it's going to be boosting the encounter cards. So this is a Black Order minion. So we're going to have to get rid of that minion in order to have a chance to clear this card. So in the future we're looking at additional encounter cards, and that's not good. All right, so I think we're ready to start Ant-Man's next turn. Looks like a giant stomp is in our future. So as we begin our turn, I think we're going to switch form to the giant size. And as a response, we get to heal 2 damage. So that's great. We'll go up to 10. Then we could possibly do that. If you are in giant form, we could exhaust this and stun the enemy. That would be nice. Let me see if I can do something with this this Outrider. I also need to do something about tough up there. Do I want to worry about the Outrider, or do I want to get rid of tough? Well, let's see. When I switch over to Ant-Man, I did get to heal 2 damage, but I also get to deal 1 damage to an enemy. So let's deal that point of damage to Ebony Maw and shake off his toughness. That's what we want to do. That makes it a little bit easier for me here. So I think what we'll do is go with a 3 resources here. We'll play these and go with a giant stomp. Deal 1 damage to each minion. And deal 8 damage to an enemy. 8 damage to an enemy. Wow, he's going down, 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 down to 0. Well, that did it. All right, so now what happens? I guess this one is knocked out. And we go to Ebony Maw Part 2. When Ebony Maw activates, you remove spell. Okay. When revealed, each player discards cards from the top of the encounter deck until they discard a spell and puts that into play in their play area. He's going to go up to 18 hit points now. And looks like we're going to be pulling out another spell. We got one right at the top called Rubble Storm. 3 counters go on to this one. All right, so where were we? We just did the giant stomp, and we were still on our turn. We healed 2 damage, we did 1 damage, took off toughness, dealt 1 damage to a minion. So I think I'm going to use the 2 aggression to activate the wrist gauntlets. So in giant form, exhaust wrist gauntlets and stun an enemy. So I'm going to stun Ebony Maw, so he can't attack me here. And then Wasp is here, and I guess I'm going to have her something about we can't remove threat here until he is gone. I guess she's going to have to try to take out the minion. So she gets another point of damage, but the Outrider's gone, so that means we should be able to start doing something there. Wait a minute, before I turn everything, Antman should get to do one more thing. Probably an attack would be good. I know I need to start working on that threat, but let's go ahead and attack while he's open. We're going to hit him for 3. Take him down to 15. And then that will end our turn. And we only get 4 cards in the giant form. Resize, Pim Particles, Athletic Conditioning, that's the other card I added, and Agent Coulson. So, we start with Ebony Maw. He's going to, I guess, first thing right away is take off a counter for each of these and then add 1 to the main scheme. We're going to get 2 encounter cards this turn. That's not good. We're in hero form, so he would attack us, but he's stunned. He shakes that off. And now we go to 2 encounter cards. Encounter card number 1 is another spell. Surge, it says. We put 3 counters on this. and it gains surge. So here comes another one. Landing craft. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck. That's when you defeat it. So we've got another acceleration token coming on and 2 threat to landing craft. Now we go for the encounter card number 2 due to the Black Order. And Blood to Spare. It's a treachery card. Each minion engaged with a player activates against that player. Each player who is not engaged with a minion searches the encounter deck and discard file for a Black Order minion and puts it into play engaged with them. Shuffle the encounter deck. So I guess we're supposed to first check the encounter deck for a Black Order minion. A minion. I don't know, that's a pretty rough... Do we get to choose? I was flipping through here and came across a pretty strong looking one here. Outrider. Why don't we take an Outrider? And then we'll shuffle this a little bit. And so now this is engaged with us. Okay. So we got to take out the Outrider before we can get rid of this stuff here. So I think that's the end of that. We're ready to go back to Antman's turn. All right, I think what I want to do is have Wasp attack and take out the Outrider minion so that we can clear the way for making some progress over there on the Black Order side scheme. Then I guess we will hit with a free size change. So this costs 0. We will switch over to our tiny form, and in doing so we get to draw 1 card. We'll take that card into our hand, and upon changing size we get to do a couple of things. We get to draw a card, and we get to remove 1 threat from a scheme. All right. Let's remove 1 from this landing craft here. Okay. Then too bad we just lost Wasp. We can't really take full advantage of this swarm tactics. Probably what we want to do in the tiny form. I think we want to thwart. And I don't really have anything that's letting me thwart just right out of my hand. Unless I guess I'll go ahead and thwart in the Antman tiny form and take 2 threat off of the Black Order and get that knocked out. So no more extra encounter cards. And then I still have a size change or a flip available to me this turn. Let's go ahead and flip over into giant form. I'm going to still stay exhausted. Once I do that, I heal 2 damage, going up to 12, and I do 1 damage to an enemy, so we're going to take him down to 14. Let's see if we can get some thwarting help here. Let me hang on to that. Spending some resources for Agent Coulson. So if we want to get him on the board, we got to spend 3. Let's spend these 3 resources, 2 energy and a mental. And Agent Coulson comes in. It says, after he enters play, search your deck and discard file for a preparation card. Add it to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. A preparation card. I don't think I have too many of those. I think that's the only one I have, which is counterintelligence. And I haven't really played that one much before. So he's on the board, he's ready to do something. Let's have him thwart. He's going to take a point of damage, but let's get rid of this landing craft, which should knock out the acceleration token. And I wonder if we want to play this, because it says counterintelligence. When any amount of threat would be placed on the main scheme, discard counterintelligence and prevent 3 of that threat. I guess we'll go ahead and get this this down, and we'll see how that might come into use later. So counterintelligence is on the board, and that's going to end my turn. So we're in giant form still at full health, and so that means we're going to get 4 cards. A lot of justice cards this turn. And let's see where we go. We're starting Ebony Maw's turn. Lose 1, lose 1, and lose 1. Fireball. After the last invocation counter is removed from Fireball, discard it and deal 4 damage. So we get hit and knocked down to 8. 2 spell cards remain. We get 1 threat on the main scheme, and Ebony Maw, will attack us now. He's going to attack for 2 damage plus a boost. Do we want to attempt a block? Sure, why don't we have Agent Coulson block for us? Damage coming in, how can that be? I think I drew one of my cards. As a boost, that would be 4 damage. It's the Shadows of the Past. I'm glad to get rid of that. So the agent is taken out. And now we go to encounter card time. And it's Gang Up. The villain and each minion attacks you. So we're going to get attacked again. So here comes a boost card. We don't have any minions to help us. Question is, do we want to defend? We're at 8 health. We're not looking too bad. So I'm going to say we'll take the damage. It is 2 plus 1 is 3 damage. So we're down to 5. I should probably pay attention to what's coming here. 2 damage, After the last invocation is removed, exhaust each upgrade you control. I see. Okay, so that is that. We're back to Antman, down to 5 health. We've got some thwarting ability here. Let's see. After you spin this card, after you change form, why don't we spend, that's not what I thought it was. I thought that was a power of justice, but this is for justice. Remove 3 threat from a scheme. Quake will do 2 damage to a minion if she schemes, after a minion schemes. Okay. All right. So what are we doing here? Lay down the law. Let me think here. All right, I don't have this fully planned out yet, but I think I'm going to switch over to my Scott Lang form. It says after you change to this form, heal 1 damage. So we go to 6. So we are in our alter ego form. And it says we can pay 1. After you change form, remove 3 threat from a scheme. Now, PIM particles are great if we're in giant or tiny form. So, don't know here. I think I'm going to let maybe 4 justice be played to pay for lay down the law. So after you change form, remove 3 threat from a scheme, and we'll take the 3 threat off of the main. Then as our action, I think I'm going to recover and heal 3. So we'll go to 9. And I think that is it. Because I don't really have any way to activate my gauntlets because I'm not in giant or tiny form. I think that's it. So question is, do I want to hang on to these cards? I guess I will. We'll go ahead and end our turn. And we get to draw to 6. So 4 more cards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, Ebony Maw, we take 1 off of each of these. Rubble Storm, well, it says after it's removed, it deals 2 damage to each character you control. So we're hit even in our alter ego form. Next is going to be this one, messing with our upgrades. Alright, so Ebony Maw puts 1 on the main scheme. And since we are in alter ego form, he will attempt to scheme against us. And with a boost card, it is a 1. That would be 3 threat. However, we have this counterintelligence card, and it says when any amount of threat would be placed on the main scheme, discard it and prevent 3 of that threat. So let's do that. So no more threat coming in. We go to encounter cards now. Encounter card is another spell or something. This is an attachment. Attach this to Ebony Maw. Prevent all damage. After abjuration prevents 2 or more damage from a single attack, you discard it. So he's got some sort of magic shield up. So after it prevents 2 or more damage from a single attack. So it's not like some other things that you have to whittle it down. You need to do at least 2 damage on an attack to make this card fizzle. Interesting. All right. Well, that's it for Ebony Maw. We're back to Antman. Scott Lang. All right, once again, I don't have all this planned out yet, but we're going to switch over to our giant form, Antman the Giant. And when we do that, we can heal 2 damage and go up to 9. But deal 1 damage to an enemy, that magic shield absorbs that, so that's not good enough to do anything to get through. So I think we want to play a resource and put down, after you change to giant form, you get +1 attack until the end of this turn. So let's put that down. Then let's spend 2 resources, maybe Mockingbird and Pim Particles. And when we play this and we're in giant form, what we're going to do is get down Quake. We get to heal 2 damage if we're in giant form. So that's going to take us up to 11, which is great. Quake is on the board. Quake is going to attack and take a point of damage, but that attack is 2. And 2 is enough to break this spell. So now he's open. Now he's open, and we got giant strength. So this is not just a one-time use. This stays on the board. Okay. So giant strength is on the board, and we have +1 attack until the end of this turn. So he will attack in giant form and attack for 4 damage, taking him down to 10. And this is all I've got left. I'm not really capable of doing much with that right now. So that's it. We'll ready up, and we're only at 4 cards. Power of Justice. There we go. Ebony Maw. First thing we do is take off a counter and pacification. After this is removed, exhaust each upgrade you control, you are stunned. Exhaust each upgrade. So wrist gauntlets are exhausted. I don't think these other upgrades exhaust. So I'm not really sure what to do with those. This one will exhaust, but these don't seem to do that. So I'm not sure what to do there. Do you exhaust a non-exhausting upgrade? Let me know. I'm not sure how to handle that one. And we get 1 on the main scheme, and Ebony Maw is at it. I think we were also stunned, weren't we? Yep. So here he goes. He's going to attack us, and I think I'm going to have Quake take this as a block for me. Damage totals 3. That's enough to take out Quake. encounter card is Black Order Infantry. It's a guard. And when they're defeated, they give the villain a tough status card. All right. Back to me. Since we can't really do much with attacks right now, don't really have anything to help me with that. Why don't we start our turn by going tiny. Going to change our form, and it says we remove one threat, and we get to draw one card. And from our tiny form, let's see what we can do. We may want to get down the Army of Ants card if possible. But I was hoping to get down the Quinn Carrier too. Generates a wild resource. Let's see. Power of Justice is a thwart. There's only one threat right now. That's not such a big concern. But Army of Ants would be nice, because he's going to get a toughness card if we take out this villain. Deal 1 damage to an enemy. He can start working on the minions. Maybe we should try to get the ants down. So what do we want to spend? Well, I would say let's spend our genius for 2 and our power of justice, and we'll bring out the Quinn Carrier. That gives us a free resource to use. We're going to use that now, and we're going to put out the Army of Ants. So Army of Ants is on the table, and we're just left with this one. So we're stunned. We want to shake that off. So let's go ahead and attack in our tiny form just to get that off of us. And I believe that's all we can do this turn. So we'll ready up and draw 5 cards. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, sorry, that was one too many. We had this one in our hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we go to Ebony Maw. No spells. 1 on the main scheme. He will attack us. We don't have any defenders, so we have to take this or try to use a defense. Let's just take it. No boost. So 2 damage. We're down to 9. The minion will now attack us for 2. Yeah, we're gonna take the damage, go down to 7. Then we get an encounter card, which is Fireball. 4 counters on there. And we start back up with Antman. Alright, there's some good things I can do while in tiny form. One thing we can do while we're in tiny form is exhaust the ants to deal 1 damage to an enemy. And since this is a guard, we've got to do the damage here. So 1 damage to the Black Order infantry. I don't think I missed that he's a guard. I hope I didn't. But we remember now. I think guard means that I have to get rid of this one before I can attack Ebony Maw. So we're still in tiny form. I thought there was something we could do here. That was one thing. The other one was to confuse an enemy if we spent 2 energy resources. We may want to think about that. I think I'm going to go ahead and spend a couple of resources here to put the under surveillance on the main scheme. So he has to get 10 to complete that, not 6. Then we're going to have a chance to do a free resize here. We'll go ahead and play resize. Cost of 0. Change to your other form, your other hero form. So we're going giant. And then draw a card. All right, lay down the law. We deal 1 damage to an enemy. That's got to be the guard. And our helmet says we heal 2 damage, so we go up to 9. All right. So now we're in the giant form. In the giant form, we're going to get +1 attack. But he still has 2 hit points we've got to deal with. We could take him out. Let's see. It says after you change form, remove 3 threat from a scheme. I think I'm going to use the Quinn Carrier to do lay down the law after we change to giant form. We'll go ahead and remove all the threat from the main. So basically what I'm trying to do is just stay alive and make sure I can get through and pound or stomp on Ebony Maw. I think I can manage the threat. So let's see how we can do this. We need to take out the guard. So that's what we'll do. As an attack action, we're going to crush the Black Order infantry, which gives the villain the tough status card. That's okay. We've got ants that can later deal with that. But we need to be in tiny form. And I think that's what we'll do. Let's spend our actual flip and go into tiny form, because that one was a free from resize. We remove 1 threat. It's already gone. We get to draw a card. War Machine. That's the wrong card. I drew an Iron Man card. Wrong card! That was a mistake. I meant to get the War Machine, the gray one. So I'm not sure how different they are. But let's draw this one instead. Clear the area. Okay. That actually will deck me out. So I think I'm going to start with an extra encounter card. So we took our action, didn't we? Yeah, we attacked already. We're just changing form. So we don't get to take another action. And we've got these 2 cards. We don't need to play them right now. So I think that's going to be it. we need to shuffle our deck and handle all this. All right, as we were finishing up, we need to ready everybody. And then we need to draw to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, it is Ebony Maw's turn. He takes one off of Fireball. And we'll add one to the main scheme. And then he will attack us. No minions to block, so we're just taking this on the face. Ouch! 5 damage. Takes us down to 4. And then we get an encounter card. I guess we'll resolve this one first. Spell. And I think that gains Surge, so that's this one. 2 on it. Reactor Overload. The Maw's troops have stormed Nowhere's engine room and set the station to overload. Each player must choose to either take 2 damage or place 2 threat here. I'm down to 4. Let's put the 2 threat on there. So that's going to be 5. But we're going to have to get to thwarting. And then the next encounter card is another manipulation. That's weird. And that gains Surge too? When revealed, remove 1 invocation counter from each spell. Well, that's not good. Yep. Okay, well that was a bit of a bumpy turn. Let's get back to Antman. All right, well one thing I know that I want to do is in tiny form, I want to have my army of ants exhaust and deal 1 damage, taking off the toughness off of Ebony Maw. That's one thing I knew I wanted to do. Then, I think I want to change form, or I want to start thwarting. I can thwart for 2. Let's thwart in our tiny form. Or should we even worry about that? Let me think. I kind of think I'm in a race just to take his health down before the main scheme stacks up with threat. It's not looking too good for me to get rid of that side scheme. I'm going to run out of health, I think. So a bit of a race here. Let's change form. We'll go to giant form. After we do that, we get to do 1 damage to the enemy, taking him down to 9. And we get to heal 2, so we go to 6. Then, after we are in giant form, we can then attack for +1 for 4 damage, taking him down to 5. Then I was thinking about using my PIM particles and the Quinn carrier as wild resource, have them both activate as aggression. So this will allow me to use the wrist gauntlets to stun the enemy. And if you're in giant form, you get to heal 2 damage. So that'll take me up to 8. And we get to stun the enemy. And then we have some options here. Clear the area. Counter intelligence. So let's use the power of justice to play counter intelligence to keep threat from going on to the main scheme. Approximately 3 if that comes up later. And then I guess we'll just go ahead and play this, and the clear the area, it'll get 2 threat from a scheme. So we're dealing with that reactor overload. And I think that's it. We're going to ready up everybody and draw 4. And I know we're about to get really confused. So we start with Ebony Maw and we take off spell counters, and both of these will activate because they're the same spell. After the last, discard 1 card at random, and you are confused. So we can't be confused twice, but we have to discard this card and discard this card. Oh, I like that one. So that's what we're left with. And we are confused. Then that he hasn't even done anything yet. We get 1 on the main scheme, and he will activate. He would try to attack us, but he is stunned, so he can't. Then we go to encounter card. The villain schemes. All right, so he would scheme. And he's trying to scheme for a total of 4. Well, we're definitely going to use our counterintelligence card to reduce that to just a single point instead of 4. Whew. All right. We're back to a confused Antman. A measly 2 cards in my hand, but hey, I think this extra card that I put into the deck, I might be able to use. Let's go ahead and pay for it. Discard, or actually 4 justice. We can use our Quinn Carrier. Let's use our Quinn Carrier to pay for athletic conditioning, discard 1 stun or confused status card. So we're not confused. Not anymore. We're in our giant form. So we're sitting here with 1 card in our hand. I think attack is the name of the game. Now, giant strength, it says after you change to giant hero form, you get +1 attack. So I am in giant form now. I don't think that this works. So I think I need to switch over into giant form and then activate this card. That's how I'm reading it. It's a hero response. So I think I have to go with my normal attack of 3. I don't think I can add this +1 because I am already in giant form. Let me know if you play it differently, but that's what I'm thinking. So let's do that. Let's attack while we can. We attack him for 3 and take him down to 2. then we're going to change form. And this is a big deal because army of ants can do him 1 point of damage, and that could win the game. But I'm going to play it as if I can't do that because I didn't have a response this turn to get +1. Because it doesn't say when you are in giant form, +1 attack. It says after you change to giant form. And I was already in giant form. I just changed to tiny form. I get to remove a threat from a scheme. And I get to draw a card from my helmet. Lay down the law. So in tiny form, the ants will go marching and hit for 1. He's down to 1 health. And I'm going to play 4 justice to activate after you change form, reduce 3 threat from a scheme. That'll remove the reactor overload side scheme from the board. So that crisis is averted. And let's see, we already attacked, so we're exhausted. So that's it. Let's ready up and draw 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we go to Ebony Maw, who blasts us in the face with a fireball. 4 damage. Takes us down to half health. We're down to 4. Half of our current health. Puts 1 on the main scheme. Remember, that needs to go to 10 now, not just 6. And he will attack us. Oh boy, we might lose. No boost to his attack, so just a single attack of 2 damage. And the encounter card is Reactor Overload. We just turned it off. Another one comes out. When revealed, each player must choose to either take 2 damage or place 2 threat here. I'm putting a threat there. I'm not taking any more damage. All right. 1 health on this guy. We start our turn, and we're in tiny form. The ants go marching in and hit him for 1, and we win the game. Wow, I was down to 2. I think we won. Let me know if I made mistakes or missed anything. I'm quite out of practice with playing, but had a good time playing this one again, and this is my first home game of breaking the cards out and trying to fight against Ebony Maw. So let me know how I did. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll catch you later.